Maria again from No Limits Endurance Coaching, and this time we're talking about how much hydration and electrolytes do you need. So again, the answer to this is based on a range, and it will vary for each person. So I can't give you the answer specifically for you, but I can give you some tools in a range for you to start getting a sense of what's going to work for you if you haven't already. So the simplest way to sort of set an idea of how much non-calorie fluid, i.e. water, that you need to take in during a training ride is to do a sweat test. So what I recommend doing is going out for an hour mostly steady state effort on the bike and an hour mostly steady state effort on the run. You can have some mild intervals in there, whatever the case may be. Go out and you do this workout. Before you start, weigh yourself naked, get on the bike, go out for the run, take note of how much fluid you take in, make sure you take note of that precisely. Don't ballpark how much fluid you take in, definitely get a sense of exactly how much. And then when you're done the ride, dry yourself off if you're sweaty, take your clothes off, try to get any water out of your hair, whatever it might be if you're sweaty in your head, and then weigh yourself again. Based on how much you've lost during that ride, plus however much you took in, that tells you about how much you sweat per hour, which from that you can extrapolate about how much fluid you need per hour. Keep in mind that how much you sweat is going to vary based on temperature and humidity. So when you do these sweat tests, you want to make sure that you're doing them in conditions that are roughly similar to what you think your race day will be. When you're racing something that's unpredictable, it is helpful to maybe do a couple different sweat tests, maybe one at 60 degrees, one at 80 degrees, one inside. If you can't get, if you think you're going to be doing a hot race, but it's cold outside, you can do some inside sweat rate to get a sense of where your sweat rate might be when it's a little bit hotter. Now, what do you do in terms of how much electrolytes you need? This one's a little trickier, and a sweat test isn't exactly going to answer that question for you. However, it'll give you a range. We know that within each 16 ounces of sweat, there's a medical average of about 500 milligrams of sodium that we lose and other electrolytes. So if you're a female, this is typically going to mean you're going to need somewhere between 300 to 1,000 milligrams per hour of sodium. And men typically sweat between 500 to 1,200 milligrams per hour. Now, it's really important to note that some people are under these ranges and some people are over. And these ranges themselves are pretty big. So how do you figure out what you need? Well, you can certainly send your sweat away to a lab, and they will analyze it for you. If that is not an option for you, play with it. Go out and sort of determine your sweat rate, then pick an amount of electrolytes somewhere in the middle of that range and see how that feels for you. You might also notice that you need more or less electrolytes depending on the weather. The hotter, you might need more. The cooler, you might need less. When you're taking in electrolytes, make sure you count not only what you might be taking in from salt tabs or Noon or Fizz or something like that, but also what's in the calories you're taking. Some gels, some bars, some powders have more or less electrolytes. They should be counted in your overall electrolyte count. Okay, I think that's it on electrolytes. If you have any questions, please make a note in the comments or send me an email, maria@nolimitsendurance.com. Thank you.